Okay, so taking account into the recent sets of news, you can see we are having way more bullish news than bearish news recently across so many pairs, all the way from Japanese yen to New Zealand, Australian dollar, Swiss franc, euro, and the rest. So in this video, we'll be discussing about what the market is looking like technically and how to go with it. Okay, for us trendline traders, we're just following the trend, chasing the market the way it goes. And I think I kind of made a mistake on this trendline market, the Australian dollar, US dollar. I ought to have left this market a long time ago. I mean, this was a very healthy pullback right here. However, I think I'm just going to let this trade run its course, right? This run its course. And looking at what's going on right now, it simply means I am supposed to adjust my stop loss. Most likely it's going to get hit, obviously. It's most likely going to get hit because it's going to be here. And this is the Australian dollar, US dollar, following the major line. The major line here is actually bearish. You know, if you look at the overall movement of this market, you can see there are not enough bullish moves to utilize apart from this one right here to this point right here, which basically is another big bullish move, but it's not what called a trend line. I mean, this is 5 degrees. This is 5 degrees, and you can see this large up and down that has happened. So I don't really see this as a trend line. However, we could just put it there for fancy sake and let it sit right there. Well, I'm already in a bullish trade, and it seems like I'm getting hot severely right now. But if this trade should go into a loose position, I won't lose too much. And this is the good thing with trendline. You just lose a little bit. Moving on to the next currency over here. This is the euro against the US dollar. And now this is one currency that has been quite consolidatory in the recent time. You can see it's been keeping within this level. I'm going to put a parallel channel to this right now. And you see it's been keeping within this level, this range for quite some time. Very, very tight range for it to work with. However, we don't trade based on range here. I trade based on trend lines only and a little bit of look at the fundamentals to see if a trade is good enough or not. But overall, you can see in recent time, this is a 4-hour trend. In recent time, we seem to have been going quite bearish. Even the weekly trend overall is bearish, and the daily trend recently seems like it still has some bullish momentum until we found this break on 29th. That was 2 days ago. And I've been following this market over a period of time. I waited for it. As soon as it closed below, I joined in and said, okay, let's see how it goes. If it goes long enough, well enough for us, we might end up in good profits. Moving on to the British pound US dollar. Now this is one trade that I kind of like, but I'm still scared. I mean, AUD USD already did me a dirty one, made a complete U-turn so close to the top, and now let me show you that again, just in case you didn't see that well. So you can see it made a very good up move and then a very, very deadly U-turn, and I may get stopped out of this trade with some losses. Terrible losses, very painful. So over here I have similar situation, price going bearish and break of upwards trend line. So I'm quite safe, I'm quite okay in this trade, and I'm seeing it go quite well. The New Zealand US dollar, so I think this is a trade I entered this morning. Yeah, this is a trade I entered this morning, and you can see I have a lot more bearish lines showing up on this market. All of this is kind of saying the US dollar is overall better than the New Zealand dollar most times. However, I think this is a contrarian trade. And why do I say so? So if I pull up my fundamental analysis chart box, right, and I go to the current comparison, right, I'll just zoom in so you see that. So you can see the New Zealand dollar, yes, overall it is bearish. Overall is this brown line. It is 48.55%. However, if you look at the 14 days average, the 14 days, the 4 days, and the average of both of them, that's the news release of recent, they are quite bullish in this market. So me taking a bearish stance here is kind of scary, I won't lie. However, we're only trading what the price is printed in Trendline. We're just following price. We don't know if the market is supposed to be bullish or bearish by fundamental news. We're just trading what the largest amount of orders filled in is doing. So moving on to US dollar, Canadian dollar. So I got caught out of this trade yesterday, and it's so painful. It's so painful because it was a complete U trade. You can see totally U-turn. Came out here and wicked me out of this trade already, and it seems like it's still going to push upwards a little bit. However, I'm just going to sit back for a while, observe this trade, readjust my lines like right here. I'm going to readjust the line, watch out for what's going on, really take away the unnecessary lines, for example like this one, and focus on what is happening right now. Focusing on what's happening right now, I have this situation, and this is a situation that I don't I don't see me trading anytime soon, even if it breaks above this position. Looking at the fundamental stance of the situation on the current markets place, US dollar, Canadian dollar, we kind of have a mixture, a bit of a mixture. In the last 14 days, it's been bearish, but in the last 4 days, the news release has been more bullish than any other. In fact, matter of fact, it has been the most bullish sets of news for a pair compared to every other pair, and that is most likely going to pull these 14 days upwards, as well as pull the average upwards, and also pull the overall slightly upwards. Now, the overall is a combination of so many days, not just 14 days or 4 days. It's a combination of every single news in total, the situation. 14 days is the release of all the last 14 days. The 4 days, only the last 4 days. So overall, this market seems quite neutral to me. Shouldn't be bothering myself too much in it. Just watch and observe. Then I have the US dollar Swiss franc. This is a trade that is surprising me. My action line got taken, and I took into this trade. Followed this trade all this way, and you can see the problem I have with this trade right now is that my safety line is way behind. And you can see my safety line right here, this green line, the 4-hour thick green line, and it's far behind. Main price could still pull down, and there's enough room for it to pull down to my break even, or even pull down below my break even and stop me out if it chooses to. However, again, we're looking at the orders in the markets and following what they're doing. Here I have the US dollar Japanese yen, and well, it's been quite crazy. So the US dollar Japanese yen is not at an all-time high. However, it's at a position where using Trendline is kind of risky to an extent, because you can see price is just pushing upwards. It's grinded, and it's going up. There's not enough close mark bearish line to trade with. So it's more like, you can see on the weekly, I don't have like enough data in my opinion. But however, I'm still taking these trades, hoping, keeping the fingers crossed and looking at it, hoping it works out well. And you all know, hoping in Forex, in trading, not just Forex, is totally BS, right? It's totally BS. You should be more calculated than hopes. So we're adjusting this to this place, and you can see most times I never lose up to the amount I'm risking. That's the good thing. And I'll show you, I have lost every single trade, but I've not lost up to the amount I've risked. And that's like one of the sweetest actions you'll ever take in trading. So over here, this is my current market situation. It's a paper trading account. I'm not scared to say that. And you can see the history has been losses overall. However, none of them is up to 1% of the account balance. The account is a $1,000 account, and I've not lost 1% of it properly. I've been losing not up to 1%. See, the first one was not even up to $1. See the next one close to the 1%, but never ever the 1%. Unless price is suddenly just going to dive down after I enter, like nose dive all the way down. I don't think I'm going to be losing up to $1, 1% of all my entire risk in one trade. And this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 6 trades, I have lost a total of $36.68, which is huge. I mean, 6 whole trade and no win. That is a bad win rate. However, let's just see how it goes. We're refining the strategy. Like I said, we're refining for better tradings. And this is the update for today. For those of you who want to really see the chart, I'm just going to show you guys again. This is the chart. We can see this is the individual currency and their strengths. You see the best performing things here is the AUD, the CAD, and those are the 2 best performing things right now. The worst performing thing here is still Swiss franc with overall. However, this is something I need you to pay attention to. However, what you need to look at for is, you see these other 3 sets of line, the 14 days, 4 days, and overall. The more this stays upwards, the more this is going to, the overall is going to start pulling upwards. So the more the 14 days and the 4 days sets of news, meaning the news sets released in the last 14 days is heavily bullish. The news released in the last 4 days also has been inching for more bullish move. So what that means is, over a period of time, this is going to start turning bullish. So same scenario applies for all currencies. Same situation happens over down here, which is the pair itself. So the more you see the last sets of news move in one direction, obviously the overall is going to start moving in that certain direction, that same direction over time. But it's just going to take a little bit of time, and it's that time difference you're just trying to catch, be able to catch the trade before that time reaches, and you win the market by being in the right position at the right time. So this is the situation of the market. Rather than showing you guys all of this, I decided it's best I take you to something easily readable, which is this chart right here. Absolutely easy to read. At a glance, you know where everything stands, and you don't have to stress your eyes or stress yourself to see it. So with this, I'll say thank you for watching. See you in the next video. I'm releasing a lot of videos recently teaching people how to create this kind of dashboard themselves. You can see the playlist on the screen now. Click it and watch for more knowledge. Peace.